Now we're going to look at how to append to a file, but before we do that, I'll quickly like to update you on something from the last video. Now mind you that if you happen to erase this, for instance, let's erase this and write something else. Let's say we happen to write Fiverr, for instance. Now if we check that in our browser, you discover that it removes the other two that we wrote and then write the Fiverr that was written here in our editor. Okay, now what the write does, or what the write function does in file handling, is it's writes to a file. Okay, now if you rewrite again, it does not update the file. It's erase the initial write up in the file and write a fresh thing given to it. Okay, in this case Fiverr, it cleaned Thomas Okesin, or that Thomas Okesin rather, and wrote what? Fiverr. Okay, now if you want to update your file, you have to use the append function, that is A instead of the W. Okay, now that is how the append function works. I don't know if we get that. Now the only thing that have to be changed here is append. You still use the fwrite function to write to the file. Now in this case we write in Fiverr. Okay, now let's copy that and paste it a couple of times. Okay, now we're writing Fiverr 4 times. Let's save that. Go to a browser, go back, click on files.php and go back and click on list.php. Now you see the list of Fiverrs right there, or Fiverr, some of you might say. Now let's go back and erase this. Okay, and let's paste it with something new. Now let's say we are writing a datums universal. Okay, here we're writing team, for instance, and here we have Okesin. Okay, let's save that, go to a browser, check on this, and then check on our list.txt, and you discover that it does not work like the W. Okay, it now appends, it updated the lists. Okay, now let's quickly try this with our a real live pattern. Now let's erase all of this. Let's quickly create a form right here. Let's create a form. Let's put a BR tag there, and then we have our form. Okay, now let's refresh our page and see what we get. Okay, that's a nice looking form that we have there. Let's quickly delete the file list.txt. Okay, we want to try something new, and then let's quickly come back here and let's remove this for now. Now we want to use an if else statement to tell PHP that if this is set, okay, if name is set, then it should do something else. It should echo something back to the user. Okay, now let's quickly do that. Now I want to say if is set, okay, posts, okay, variable underscore posts. Okay, now let's try this. Now what I just did here is I took the name here, assigned it to a variable. We did that in previous videos using the post method, and then we check if this is set. Okay, now if it's set, it should move to the next line, check if it's empty. Now if it's not empty, then it should do all of this. Now it should create a file called list.txt and append to the file. Okay, now what it will do is it should write to the file whatever is being fed in here, which is what we assign to the form input here, and then we'll concatenate that with a tag, a break tag, or a slash like this. Okay, so as to move to the always move to the next line when a name is being written in it. Okay, so now if the whole thing is successful, it should echo entrance successful, but if it's not successful, then it should echo entrance not successful. So let's try that and see. Now if we go back, we discover that our files 1.php is the only thing we have here because we recently deleted our list.txt. But now let's click on that and we'll see that the only thing we have here is our form. Let's write something here. Now we have universal, for instance, and you see entrance successful. Let's write something else. Let's write team, and you see entrance successful. Let's write Fiverr, and you see entrance successful. Okay, now there are many things there you can write. Let's write atoms, and one more time let's write something else. Entrance successful. Now if you go back to our files folder, okay, now you discover that the text file has been created, and if you open that, you discover that the whole thing we've been writing is being being appended in our created file. Okay, so take a good look at the video and understand what we did here. I'll see you in the next video.